Hello everyone, Todd Barden. I'm here in Heartland, Wisconsin, joined Jason Strout, Muay Thai coach, fighter, absolute Muay Thai commentator. Jason, welcome. Really excited to be with you. This pandemic has really sacked everybody, right? And Jason, you and I choose to hit it head on. And let's just share a little bit of how we approach our day. Thanks, Jason. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about wellness. And Jason, you travel around the world commentating, working with professional athletes, coaching, doing a lot of work. Through this pandemic, how have you and how have some of these top professional athletes, how have they gotten through this?
I mean, this has changed a lot of people's lives, changed my lives, changed a lot of athletes' lives.
Yeah.
They can't do their normal routine. You know, everything, if they're preparing for a fight, a gym's closed, they don't have training partners.
Right.
My line of work is kind of on pause. There's a couple of gyms that are open. The fights in Thailand have stopped, so I don't have a commentating job right now, so I've come back to Wisconsin and get to be around my family. So it's kind of a blessing. It's kind of an opportunity I wouldn't normally get.
Right.
Normally I'd be traveling, training fighters, I'd be all over the world, I'd be a non-stop, busy itinerary for me. It just doesn't end. But now I kind of get to take a break and be around the people that I care about and just kind of reevaluate things and look at things differently.
Okay.
Just kind of looking at my future and my outlook in a way that I haven't been able to do before because of this pandemic. It's forced me to think differently and choose my daily routines differently and choose my path of being positive or being negative or dwelling on what's taking place. I could be upset every single day. I have no job. I don't have a commentating job. I'm not training people. I'm living at my mom's again. Like I'm 16 again.
Yeah.
But I've decided to take that part of my life and enjoy it. Like I'm doing things that, like I said, I wouldn't normally do, and just trying to be as positive about it as possible, and just find new ways, new outlets, new ways to explore this new world. Get the best out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's talk about routines. So we talked before of, with everything going on and it's so easy, right, to pull on the news or pull on your iPhone and look at, latest numbers and things like that.
Of course.
But I know for me, I'm a morning guy, right? So I wake up with my cup of coffee and I start to think about, what am I going to do for the day? And I start with really two major things that I focus on. Number one, which is being in a positive mindset. So I think about everything that's going on, that's well, that's good, that I'm excited about, right? And then I talk about and I think about really gratitude. For me, that starts with my family. It starts with my family. I kind of think about all the things that I'm very gracious about, and then I get into my day. And I know for a lot of people right now that's a real struggle, right? I mean, whether it's the weight gain, whether it's the getting moving and getting going in fitness. What's some of your routines, or what have you seen? Not only you, but then again, some of the pro fighters that are getting into their next fight, or they're delayed and they're on the sideline and they're just waiting for what they have to do.
I mean, I guess as far as me, just waking up and finding things to do. Because like I normally have a day planned out, go to the gym, go to the office, prepare for a next fight that I have to commentate for. So now I have to find things to do.
Yes.
Find things that kind of keep me busy, find things to keep my mind busy, and also stay relevant with what I do for a career. I have to stay up to date with fighters and fights going on. And there's not a lot going on. Right. There's a fight here or there, so you try to watch it whenever you can. Yep. And the dynamic and the way the fights take place are a little bit different now. There's no audience. There's that energy that's not quite there. Yeah. The last show I commentated for in Thailand, it was to an empty room. So normally I'm in Bangkok at one of the major stadiums at Lumpini, and the energy is just off the charts.
Sure.
There's people screaming, there's bettors, there's a fight taking place. The cornerman has like 30 people in it, just nonstop energy. Right. And then I do this show, there's nobody there. Cornerman, referees, me and the commentator, you can hear everything. Yeah. So it was just a different kind of energy, but still enjoyed it because of, I feel like the fight changed. There wasn't that pressure on the fighters. So they didn't have the betters, they didn't have this, they didn't have the crowd. So they fought. It just seemed maybe a little bit more pure.
Okay.
You know, because they didn't maybe have a gym to prepare in because maybe the gym was closed.
Yes.
You know, so there was just kind of more of a raw fight. And I was watching boxing the other night on TV, same thing.
Okay.
Like they're in the studio.
Yeah.
You know, they got their cornerman, everybody's got a mask on.
Yeah.
Who knows how they prepare? Who knows if they had sparring partners? Who knows if the gym was open?
Right.
Or they might have just been in a park, you know, doing pads and drills and things like that. So it just shows that they're coming from a different place now when they fight.
Okay.
You know, like they're coming from that will to win.
Sure.
You know, they gotta want it more than anybody else.
Right.
Because they gotta find a way. It's not just like the normal routine where you go to a gym, you run, you prepare, and it's just becomes you know, routine, just same thing over and over. You kind of get the groove and do it. But now it's, you got to find a way. So it just kind of brings out that pureness, that rawness, and that just what I think fighting should be. You know, like the best man versus the best man.
Right.
It's not just, you know, who's picking and choosing, and now it's whoever's available too.
Right.
I've seen guys with records, you know, 25-6. It used to be like, you know, perfect guys versus a guy you know who's going to win.
Yeah.
It just really changes how the fight game is taking place, and I think that's a kind of comparison to life.
Sure.
Because you can choose to sit back and let this consume you.
Right.
Or you can move forward and find a way
Right.
to get the most out of this.
Right.
And find a way to keep moving forward when everything else is trying to hold you back.
Sure.
You know, the cream will rise to the crop now,
Yeah,
won't it?
yeah.
I mean, the cream will rise to the top now, won't it?
Yeah, yeah. You know, really kind of going through this, we also talked about, you know, it's kind of like going back to the first time we were in the ring, right? You know, you had your first fight, I had my first fight, and really, you know, that experience in itself was really, you know, a mind-blowing experience to really make you learn a lot about yourself, right?
Yeah.
About your preparation, your mindset, you know, how are you going to, you know, take care of yourself mentally and be mentally strong to get in that position. So do you remember that? And what you know, your journey, you know, through those years, how do you think that's prepared you, and how do you think that's helped you prepare for many things you do today?
I mean, just the overall dealing with the nervousness, the anxiety, the unknown, the what if.
Yeah.
I mean, that's everybody's major problem when you're dealing with anything in life is the what if. You don't know what's going to happen next.
Right.
So you can let that defeat you,
Right.
or you can find a way to conquer it and fuel the fire to push you forward.
Sure.
Right. I remember my first fight. I kind of remember my first fight. It's been a long time now since that's happened.
Yeah.
But I remember I wanted to be the most prepared I could be.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to do everything that I can control.
Yeah.
To make my outcome positive, or make my outcome give me the best chance to win, right?
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to be in the best shape. I know I can be in the best shape possible. I can run, I can do whatever I can do to be in shape, to be the top me I could be. Maybe I didn't have the skills yet, I was still learning.
Right.
And maybe he had more skills than me, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right? And then you can let that eat you up. You can think about that all day. And, you know, you go, oh man, what if he did this and that? And then you show up at the fight, the weigh-in, you see the guy. And of course, when you walk in the room, you look at the biggest guy. Like, oh, that's probably my opponent.
Right.
Then you figure out who your opponent is. It's like, I got this. You know, like this is same, no problem. We got this. But then, let's say you're on an airplane. You know, and it's shaking. You're a little nervous, right?
Yeah.
It's like, man, you know, everybody's looking at everybody else. They're a little nervous too. And it's like, well, you bring your mind back to that time where you showed up at that weigh-in, or you got in that ring.
Yeah.
Or was that first time you sparred?
Yeah.
And you're like, man, I did this. I got through that. I can get through this. I can get through anything.
Right.
So you start building that tolerance, or that's something in you where you kind of build. You can. Everything becomes a little bit easier because you've experienced something tough.
Yeah.
You know, and if you let those little things defeat you, then it just knocks you back.
Right.
You know, and it's like you keep gaining points.
Right.
Right. The more points you have, the more confidence you'll have, and it shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing kids come to the gym and they you know, they're kind of not sure about themselves. They walk in the gym, they kind of got that like, oh, you know, and maybe life's not so good for them on the outside.
Right.
And maybe they never became a champion, but they came to the gym and they overcame those little fears.
Right.
Right. They overcome those little fears.
Yeah.
And more and more and more.
Yeah.
You get that confidence, and it shows. Also, they walk in the gym and shoulders are back, chest is up.
Yeah.
And you can see that confidence just coming out of them.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it was just one sparring session.
Right.
Or maybe one hit in the bag and just pushing himself past that point of exhaustion. I'm sure you know all about that.
Yeah.
Because you have to get past that uncomfortableness.
You do.
And still deal with it.
Right.
To gain.
Right.
And the more you do it, the more you're like, I could do it because I did it last time.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going and going and going. But if you don't ever try to get to that point, and if you don't ever try to reach past where you think you can go,
right,
whether it's mentally, physically, whatever, you gotta go for it. You gotta push. You gotta make yourself better that way.
yeah,
Right. And during these times,
sure,
where all the odds are stacked against you,
yeah,
this is the best time to do it. This is the best time to try new things.
yeah,
And go outside your comfort zone.
yeah,
You know, and maybe you don't have a job, and maybe the money's starting to run out.
right,
And you got to find a new way to make yourself better inside, mentally,
Yes.
physically.
yeah,
And once you tackle that, you know,
Yeah.
you got that building block, you got that foundation, you got that good base, right?
Yeah,
You got
right.
them deep roots in the tree that's not falling
Right.
down in the storm.
yeah,
Right? You got all those things, but you got to do it. You got to want it.
yeah,
You got to build that up.
yeah,
Nobody else is going to give it to you.
right,
You know, you can't open a book, you can't, watch a video on YouTube, and those are inspiration, and those
Right.
are ways to start the fire, right?
Right.
I got the matches, I got the gas.
Yeah.
I want that thing to be ablaze, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you got to find a way to get that thing going, and you got to keep it going.
yeah, great insight. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. I'll leave everyone on one last thought. The great Dr. Martin Luther King. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But you need to keep moving forward. God bless. Stay safe. Be well.